And we are live here, 7th inning stretch again with you over the offseason. We got Logan Stone back again. Where is that plaid, Susie? We were just talking about that before we got on. We got
I'm quite disappointed.
Logan.
Quite disappointed.
We got a mature Logan Stone here with it. And we get, of course, you can see a friend of the program. Always enjoy her comments in on the show, her support of the show. Susie, Bourbon and Baseball, how are we doing out there?
I'm good. Hopefully my microphone is not too terrible. I'm so sorry if it is. My laptop and my microphone are just not happy. They're not compatible any longer, apparently. So now I'm like trying to talk into the microphone. This is not the microphone. I'm gonna sit over here.
Yeah, like the guy. What's that one from Talladega Nights where he takes the mic? He just has to bring it to the mouth actually to talk about it. So if you see Susie doing that, that's part of it. No, you sound good. Where Logan looks ready to go here, 7th inning stretch. Josh Edwards maybe jumping on here. Hope you're doing well, Edwards. Always prayer up to your family there. I know you're dealing with that as well. We'll get you back on whenever you can. Kind of been an interesting offseason, Susie. I know you've commented in on the Bregman stuff. I want to get your thoughts on maybe that as we move forward with the show and we get into Diamond Notes and stuff like that where you're seeing with your hometown team. But, guys, I always feel like this is one of the more interesting weeks of the year when we get to Hall of Fame week. There's just so much, controversy with, oh, this person got snubbed, that person got snubbed. And, Susie, it seemed like a great week to have you on because of the Wagner situation, specifically for your franchise. You had Ichiro get in. You had Sabathia also as first-time ballot Hall of Famers get in. Where do you land on the Hall of Fame here? Logan v. Susie, let's go in person. We got it. Aaron knows what's up. Aaron, shout out to you.
Aaron knows.
Aaron, I will say this. I might have Lindor a little higher this time. All right, go ahead, Susie. Where do you sit on the Hall of Fame? And kind of just, I don't know, just you got to go with your thoughts on what you got from 2025 here in the class.
So, honestly, I really only cared about Billy Wagner.
That's fair.
I mean, really and truly, I really only cared about Billy Wagner. And the fact that he missed last year by 5 votes, I was livid. I'm pretty sure there was a minute and a half rant, a cuss word laden rant. I had very, very strong words for those 5. And I was just so hopeful that he was going to get in and that all of the writers were going to do the right thing. I didn't care about Beltran. Nope. I take that back. I do care about Carlos Beltran. I do care about Carlos Beltran, but I need all the people talking about the Astros cheating scandal to recognize why and how the Astros cheating scandal came to be. And, hey, Carlos Beltran, did you introduce that to the Astros from the Yankees? I think you did. Anyhow, I'm not going to besmirch the good name of Carlos Beltran, though, but I just want to put that out there. Billy Wagner, however, though, that was my guy. Good. And that was the only one that I really cared about. Obviously, all of these players were before baseball, Susie.
Yes, that's why I was going to that's the thing with Wagner for me. I was going to ask you that is it's Wagner's before Susie baseball. So
yes.
Is it just the Astro allegiance there? Have you seen highlights? What is it about for you?
It is the Astro allegiance. He is my husband's favorite baseball player. And so before I knew anybody else on the ballot, I'll be really honest, I recognized, I could tell you who Billy Wagner was, what position he was. I could tell you facts about Billy Wagner. So that's kind of how it started. And then obviously found out how amazing he was. The whole, oh my gosh, he broke his right arm when he was 7 years old and loved baseball so much that he taught himself how to pitch with his left arm. I'm all, yep. I'm sorry, what now? That's wackadoodle. Who does that? Billy Wagner?
He was a beat. He threw, my favorite Wagner story is he'd be out in a field and just would throw and then go get the ball and then throw and then go get the ball and throw. I'm nobody does that. But I had a hard time I always was kind of anti-Wagner, not from the standpoint of necessarily his talent, because as a kid growing up playing a ton of fantasy baseball, always being in on it, you always took him as one of the best closers, and he threw gas. He didn't have a great postseason career. That was something he did lack. But the one thing that always throws me off as we kind of get into a bigger story with some of these the voting in Hall of Fame is I just don't know how you can have somebody like Wagner get in, and then you vote somebody like Francisco Rodriguez at like 8 to 10%. It just, as somebody that watched both guys, it just doesn't make sense to me. There's such a massive gap between two elite closers in the game, one in American League, well, when he started, of course, with the Angels.
Mhm.
I just don't. That's the part that I have a hard time with this Hall of Fame stuff, Logan. Where do you kind of sit on the class that got in?
It's funny because you and we've always compared Wagner and K-Rod together, and it's so funny because like someone who grew up in the sport, I had always like K-Rod was just on another level.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter what day it was, you never wanted to mess with K-Rod. And Billy Wagner, he was elite, but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Yeah, it's weird for the same reason.
What'd you think of that?
Question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're saying that Billy Wagner's postseason production wasn't great.
Yeah,
but there's guys in there in the Hall of Fame that didn't have any postseason production anyhow because none of their teams got into the postseason.
I don't know. I guess for me, it always left a bad taste. I remember that series specifically against the Braves where he was really bad. That was the one that kind of stood out to me as being an elite closer. And I guess maybe I always held the fact against that based on other guys too. I think maybe that's something that was hard for me to separate. Is like what is separating some of these closers that are starting to get. The one thing that he looks, when I look at his stats, the one thing that gives him a massive advantage is that he was always usually under a 3 ERA. He never was too high on that. He had 1 year, I think we had like a terrible year. It was 6.51. It's like some outlier year he had in the middle of his career. And then he was dominant the rest of the way. I don't know. Like he was good. I just never, I don't know. He didn't seem like a Hall of Famer to me, I guess, at the time when I was watching him. And I think because of the closers being such an important role come postseason time, I remember K-Rod being so dominant for the Angels when he first came up with them and basically helped ride them to a World Series that first season. I think for me, and being an A's fan and seeing them so much, maybe that's part of it as well. That's kind of I think where my psyche goes with it for bad or wrong. I don't have a problem with him getting in. I'm not going to throw a huge fit about it like what I would with like other guys, but I just always question the voting because of this, Susie. Is like, I don't understand what these guys are seeing with this differential in like positions. I mean, like if you compare Wagner and Rodriguez or other guys, it's pretty close. And then like Rodriguez even has one more All-Star and one more World AIDS relief winning thing over Wagner. So I guess that for me is such a conundrum that I have a really hard time separating the two. He was obviously dominant. He was my brother's favorite player growing up. And he didn't even live. We lived on the West Coast, so that tells you what what the impact he had with Wagner specifically.
It just doesn't feel like
automatic
Wagner,
like some guys.
Yeah, Wagner should get it before K-Rod does. It's kind of like one of those things.
Okay,
that's kind of our thing. Wonder if Beltran ever.
I think he gets in next year. I think we'll get on this in a second. I think. I mean, he has a great chance. Next year's Hall of Fame class is not dominant by any means, and he was pretty close this year. I think there's a chance he gets in as well. I'm going to hit on Andrew Jones here in a second as well. Now, Susie, I know you maybe a little before Susie with CC Sabathia, but I didn't think he was necessarily a first ballot Hall of Famer when he got in. I thought he was a Hall of Famer, but sometimes that first ballot thing maybe carries a little too much weight in some regards. And then you have some idiot that decided not to vote for Ichiro, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I wanted to get, it just doesn't. I want to get my guy here real quick here, Tyler, up on the screen. He posted a video yesterday with his thoughts on with the All-Star, with the Hall of Fame. I just kind of want to get your guys' reaction to maybe what he said, especially around what he says about Sabathia. I thought what he said was kind of interesting regarding that. So let me just see what you guys think of it.
Tyler McGurk, Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports, on the hat, read it, weep it. Baseball Hall of Fame is announced. Ichiro gets in, no complaints. My only complaint is he wasn't unanimous. Who didn't vote for Ichiro to be in the Hall of Fame? Kick rocks, you lose your vote. Now, you guys that got in, I got gripes. Billy Wagner Billy Wagner, yeah, he had over 300 saves, maybe 350. I don't know. Billy Wagner's not a Hall of Famer. His playoffs were terrible. Now, CC Sabathia. This is my biggest gripe. You're not going to agree with me. CC Sabathia is not a Hall of Famer. He's had 1 year under a 3 ERA. He's riding in the coattails of 2 months in Milwaukee and playing in New York. It makes me sick, the New York bias. CC Sabathia is not a Hall of Famer. Ichiro, congratulations. Enjoy.
So I thought what he said was interesting to me was the part about Sabathia. Like, it is true when he played on the Indians growing up, he would have years where he would get rocked. Like he doesn't have an under 3 ERA. I found his point interesting about the coattails of the Yankees along with the Brewers thing. I found that comment interesting. Do the Yankees carry more weight in a Hall of Fame situation like that? I don't know. I don't know. Logan, what do you think of Sabathia there?
Well, I the coattails of the Yankees. Oh, well, he was a part of that 2009 Yankees team. Okay. I was like, I don't think there were really any coattails on that Yankees because he was with the Yankees until 2019. And so, like, that was some horrible Yankee years. But, yeah, I mean, in any other year, let's be honest, this has not been the best year. This is not the best year for MLB Hall of Famers. And so I think at a certain point, it's just like, and I think he will always be remembered for that Milwaukee half season.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. I mean,
95 complete games in 2 months or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was going to say like 28 straight games played. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was just amazing. And then, I mean, he comes onto the Yankees and he does do really well. Yeah, I mean, I think it did help that he was with the Yankees, but I also don't know. I'm not necessarily.
It's hard to that's when you get over like certain marks. I feel like it's automatic. Like the 3,000 K mark feels automatic for these guys.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel 3,000 hits feels automatic. It used to be 500 homers. That's what it was. So I mean, there are like points where the one guy for me though, like he mentioned, was Ichiro. Like I mean, there's a compliment. I used to call him the biggest bitch of the world because every time he was up, like I felt like he was going to get a hit against my ace. Runner on second base. I would want nobody else up with him. Like if he was on second back in the prime, I'd be like, oh, like he was just such a pain in the ass to see him up to back because he knew he wasn't striking out. If he grounded out to short, he was probably beating it out to first base. He was like no other player that we probably won't see ever. Like, I mean, this guy like is like a 101 with what he did. And we got him like 7 years past, not necessarily past his prime, but like he played in Japan for 7-8 years there, I believe, maybe even a little longer professionally.
I thought it was 9 years, no?
Yeah, I think he started 9 years professionally there. And he ended up with 3,000 hits still in Major League Baseball. I mean, pretty crazy. He's the all-time hit leader in a season. I mean, I don't know, like this guy was just, I don't even, like the guy that didn't vote for him, I don't know what you were watching, but to me, he's a 101. And like, when you say, well, maybe the class doesn't like hold some of it, he carries a heavy amount of this. Like as good as Wagner and Sabathia were great players, Ichiro's the 101 of this group. He's a 101 guy. Like you're not going to see guys like him probably ever in Major League Baseball again. That's how good he was. And like
his rookie year was pretty great.
Stupid good. MVP, Rookie of the Year. The Mariners won 116 games, tying an all-time record. I mean, this guy is one of the best players that I've seen in the last 2 decades and a half. There's no doubt about it that he would be one of my first picks in a top starting line. There's just no doubt he would be there because, as a leadoff hitter, he's the guy. He would be the guy outside of Ricky Henderson that I'm taking as my leadoff hitter because he just gets hits, and that's what you want. You want somebody on base all the time. So he's the one to me that really sticks out in this class. He's automatic. And just an awesome player. And Susie, have you ever really got a chance to look at some of his stuff, highlight wise, or any of that stuff with him?
I watched some of his highlights. I've read some of the stories about him of just how he did like grind out at bats, and not everyone, but a lot of people said, "Oh, he's just a singles hitter, blah blah blah." And yeah, he is quote unquote just a singles hitter, but I mean that was what he was. Like that's what his job was to get on base, was to put the ball in play. And that's kind of like the cop out for me, because I feel like if he really wanted to, he could have hit dingers. Like he could have
Oh yeah.
had way more home runs than he did, but that wasn't his goal. Like he knew that if he was going to try and hit dingers, like he wasn't going to put the ball in play, and I feel like it's unselfish baseball, and it's not baseball that like is played obviously today, or really,
No. See, when he came in, I was a junior, I want to say, in high school when he came in the league. And like I said, hardcore A's fan at that point. The first series he played was against the A's in Seattle. And I remember watching that. I don't believe he got a hit the first game, and then he got a bunt for his first hit. He got another single up the middle. But you get like there wasn't very many guys. His style was so different. Like you didn't see guys starting to run to first as they were swinging. That wasn't like a thing with him. And
Right.
I remember thinking for a little bit, how's he ever going to hit a home run? He'll never hit a home run. I think he hit one like in May for his first one. I was like, this is like you just kind of take that all in with him. And you just remember watching him just so good in for that Seattle area too, that really just lost Griffey. They just lost A-Rod. He came in and took out. They weren't expected to be good. I mean, that's who they lost. They lost two of the biggest names. And then you throw Randy Johnson, who got traded to your Astros a few years later. They were losing their three best players. And then here comes Ichiro, and who knows? They literally tie the Cubs for the best record of all time. We got our guy Flea Market tuning in here as well. Appreciate that. Glad Billy got in. We were talking about it. Finally hot in the Hall of Fame among all-time relievers, 500 innings pitched, 6 in Jaws, second in ERA, second in ERA plus and whip. Yeah, we talked about him. I said I had a little controversy with it because of the whole K-Rod thing, but obviously a great player there too with it. Any final thoughts on Ichiro there?
So I know everyone's making a big stink about it not being unanimous. I think that's so stupid.
Well, who's the idiot that wouldn't vote for him, though? Like, why would you not vote for him? Just pettiness?
You know how many MLB Hall of Fame inductees were unanimously voted in? One, Mariano Rivera, and that was like 2 years ago. Babe Ruth.
Don't bring that up.
Let's see. Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey Jr., Stan Musial, Ted Williams, all these other guys were never voted in unanimously, and we're mad because Ichiro didn't. I mean, I love Ichiro, but let's pump the brakes here and wanting the guy's head who didn't vote Ichiro in. It's like, dude, it's fine.
It's fine, but you also
I don't want his head. I just want him or her just step on a million Legos, okay? And
I saw. I'm just like,
get some lemon juice and some paper cuts. That's all I'm saying.
Like, what is this fake outrage with people? And then they're like, they want to act like the last.
It's not fake outrage, Logan. Ken Griffey Jr. didn't even get all time. I mean, what are these people watching? Did you watch Ken Griffey Jr. play and go, you know what? 700 home runs, not a first. I mean, what are we talking about? Like, what is the point of this?
Yeah, I get it. I think that Ken Griffey Jr. If I were the one voting, and I would say, man, these guys need to unanimously get in. It's Ken Griffey Jr. It's it's Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, who's arguably the greatest player in baseball ever.
Let me ask you this: if Ohtani, retired after next year, would he be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Okay. Would everybody vote for him?
I would assume so. And I would not. And you know what? If he wasn't unanimously put in, I would get mad. I would be like, that's ridiculous. But Ichiro, it's like, okay, he's a great player. I love him, but I think everyone needs to just calm down with this whole, he's got to step on a billion Legos.
I'm with Susie. Step on coal. Step on fire, buddy. I like how Ichiro said, was he from like an Italian family member? He's like, I just want to have a conversation with the guy. Like that's what he said. Let me meet you in a dark. Let me just have a conversation with you. Be careful,
Just
buddy.
gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious.
Gonna make him go to the mattresses.
We'll make him go to the bed. This is where I wish Josh was on with a comment like this, because we're talking about Andrew Jones, and this Andrew Jones, center fielder for the Braves. That's for next year's class. He's kind of seems to get the biggest argument with people wanting it. I think Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer. I don't have a problem with him waiting. He had a kind of a drop off, but I do think he's a Hall of Famer. So he should get in a little bit.
That after his 30, like his age 30 season, like he just fell off a cliff. Is that the one? Okay.
Yep, big time. Like it just felt like he was like a totally different player. I mean, he still ended up with 400 home runs, 400 stolen bases, 10 gold gloves. There's only three other guys to do that in Major League Baseball history. So he should get in at some point. But I love this comment about the Ozzie Smith part because Josh would just be flipping a you-know-what right now.
It doesn't matter because of the presence he brought to the team.
That would be part of it for sure. If Josh with it. That's the one thing I like about the Hall of Fame. And like Susie, I don't know about you. You said 2019, right? That's where you kind of started locking in, or was that when it was?
Well, I started watching the Astros in 2018, and then like all of baseball in 2019 and 2020. So
what's your thought of it? You're newer to the Hall of Fame stuff than us. Like with the history of guys, you're kind of fresher with some of the. Like, does it get you fired up or do you feel like you don't maybe know some of the guys' careers as well? Like, how are you?
Honestly, honestly, I really don't have an opinion on a lot of the guys. Like, so when you were talking about K-Rod, I'm all, okay, sure. Because I have no frame of reference, like I didn't ever watch him play. Honestly, Wagner, like I didn't want to, like I didn't get excited, to research any of the guys. And so I honestly don't have an opinion on 99% of the Hall of Fame, like voting.
Do you have an issue with the way you do it then? Do you feel like something's off from afar as a newer?
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, just because I understand the whole character clause issues, like why is Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame? Why is Barry Bonds not in the Hall of Fame? Why is Curt Schilling not in the Hall of Fame? I get it. I understand. There's something to be said though about getting on the good side of the baseball writers, and like that's why they're more apt to vote for you versus, the guys
Big Poppy, are you there? I'm talking to you. Yes, exactly.
Like, I don't know. And I understand that there's like the whole veterans group that can vote them in, like afterwards if they don't get in through the writers. But honestly, like really before I understood the Hall of Fame and what was happening and who was voting, I legitimately thought it was like the guys that were in the Hall of Fame, like the players that were still alive, that voted them in. And then when I found out that it was baseball writers, I'm all, wait, like some of these people don't write about baseball anymore. Some of these writers don't even follow baseball any longer. Why are they voting for baseball Hall of Fame when they aren't watching the sport? And so some of it feels a little weird, not shady, but like weird. And then, like why? And then if you're not watching the sport, like if your frame of reference is, Derek Jeter on the Yankees, what are you doing? Can you just give your vote to somebody else that like knows about baseball now and, can put a little bit more context into their voting?
Yeah.
That's
I think that's been the problem, and kind of 15 years ago or however long, there was a mixture of old school versus new school writers, kind of in a sense where we just got, new age like these guys for these reasons, and then old age like these guys for these reasons, and there was kind of a clash. But I think also, I mean, it's hard for players or for writers to. I'm getting distracted by Ichiro's highlights right now.
He's
I'm like,
putting
oh
you in a
man,
daze.
that's so good.
Putting you in
Yeah,
a daze. Putting you in a daze over here.
puts me to sleep.
Put you-
But yeah, and so I think the writers are just very. I think there's not a good enough statistical analysis of everything, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago with the catching. There's not really a good way to quantify the catcher, how good a catcher is behind the plate, right? Everyone talks about how great Yachty is behind the plate, but there's no real number that says, oh, I mean, there are a couple of like offhand defensive stats that say, oh, this is the greatest catcher right here, and then like even but like defensive war, it favors shortstops a lot more than it does other positions.
Oh yeah.
But like
Right.
and like the story of like Trey Turner a couple of years ago where he had a terrible defensive war and he called the guy who created the defensive war stat and he says, "What am I doing wrong?" And so the defensive war guy said, "Oh, just take 2 steps to your left and you'll be fine." And so he took 2 steps and his defensive war jumped up.
Yeah.
And it's a weird, like, it's weird. So when you think of guys like Andrew Jones, who you don't necessarily, you really do think of him for his defense, but like you can't really just, it's more of an eye test for him. Like Ozzie Smith, you always saw how great he was.
He had some big postseason moments too along the way. He had that homer against the Dodgers. I always say with Andrew Jones, like as a kid growing up, they were always on TBS. So the Braves were one of the teams you just saw all the time. He had a massive World Series at 19 against the Yankees. That carries some weight. He was the best. He was by far the best defensive center fielder for 10 years. Beltran is, to me, he'll get in as well. Beltran's a great player. He'll get in at some point. Yeah. Next year's Hall of Fame class is really weak. It's not a good class in terms of new guys coming in. So you'll have that. And then like when you have guys like Bonds and Clemens and Rodriguez and Sheffield not get in because of roids, you're kind of throwing off how it actually would have gone, right? Because like it just means like it kind of dilutes some of it because like in reality, all these guys were Hall of Famers, like they just were. Yeah. But then you're like voters are like no, and so then you start to get it kind of thrown off. So I think that's what's kind of diluted.
Part of me thinks that the roids guys, like I really do think that they need to go in. Like if you want to put them in and you want to put a big old asterisk next to their name and like with a key of okay, the asterisk by their name means that they were on roids, sure, do it.
Yeah.
But to not have Barry Bonds and to not have like Roger Clemens, and it feels a little not great. It feels a little not great.
It feels like I said, like until you get those guys in, it's like I always say, it's a museum. It's not just get them in. Their history of the game. They're the best. I mean, Barry Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen. It's not even close. And the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is ridiculous. But anyway,
I don't even think there should be an asterisk anymore. They did it before it was even illegal. So
yeah, I mean, and once Big Papi got in for me, it changed it. I'm like, that guy was in the report, the same one all these other guys that are not in are. I don't know how if he gets in. I just that to me is. And then I've heard some people say, well, Ryan Braun might get in. I'm like, he's not getting in. He actually tested positive for steroids during the season. So that's not. He's not getting in. If he gets in, that would make no sense. Baseball loves him. What are you talking about? He played for Milwaukee. Nobody's like he's not getting in. If he gets in, you're gonna hear an uproar with it. I do find it just to kind of put a little bow on it before I move on. So Ichiro, Wagner, Sabathia, all three great players over the last 20 years. Wagner, I know for a lot of people that one hit home. Susie, I know for your husband, he was probably happy to see him get in. As you said, with the breaking his arm right-handed, learning to throw left-handed. I wonder if he can throw right-handed. You guys should find out. Is Wagner? Can he do both? Like that'd be curious if he could do it. Pretty cool that they get in. I do look forward. As you get older and you see these guys that were childhood, just kind of idols or guys you would kind of pick up in like your league and stuff. It's just kind of funny to see that they're now there with it. So Sabathia, he's from the Bay Area, from Oakland. Kind of cool to see him get in as well as a local thing for me out here. So Good with that. Dave Parker, he also won a World Series with the A's in '89. I know a lot of Pirates fans are happy for him to get in, especially with him not doing as well health-wise, to see him get in too. When you talk to old guys or older guys, they said he was an automatic Hall of Famer. They're shocked he took him this long to get in based on the votes there with it. And then Ichiro, of course, congratulations there with it as well. Any final thoughts on Hall of Fame there, Stone? You got anything you want to add to it? Andrew Jones, we got the list next year too, Beltron. Any final things before we move on to my paranoia here?
No, I don't really have anything. Congratulations. And
does anybody has anybody been there? Anybody want to go there? Anybody you want to, Susie, is that on the list, the bucket list maybe to go there? To go to Cooperstown? Cooperstown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is on my bucket list. And when we were watching the not inauguration, like when they're announcing it and stuff with my twins, they were all, what is this? Why? And so we're trying to explain to them where Cooperstown is, what Cooperstown is, all that stuff. And so one of them, the one that actually is into baseball, is all like, I want to go. The other one's all, I don't want to go. I don't care.
It would be hard for me to make a special trip up to New York just to drive 3 hours from Manhattan. I think it's 3 hours from Manhattan.
Yeah, it's up north. I've heard it's a pretty cool place, though. I've heard it's like living about as far as you could possibly live from that out here.
I've been to the
right on the coast here,
so that's pretty much the same.
That's about the same thing. You've had enough over there with it. Dodger paranoia. I don't know how to phrase it other than this. Susie, has MLB let us all down as fans? Are the Dodgers able to do too much? What's going on here with LA? What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, let's be really honest. Did we all know that Roki Sasaki had a wink, wink, nudge, nudge?
I think you're right.
Deal in place with the Dodgers. And here's my like real question though. How is this any different than all, and I mean all, of the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds in the Dominican and Cuba saying that they're going to sign with the team, but they can't actually say they're going to sign with the team on, how is this any different? Like, it's not. You're just, it's we're mad because it's the Dodgers and they've just signed everyone and their freaking dog and, my grandma. Like, it's annoying. And if I hear one more Thanos reference and the Dodgers, I may actually throat punch somebody.
Yeah, one more at that. Yeah, you're gonna lose your
Thanos
mind.
reference.
Oh, hold on, I'll get something for Susie. Go ahead. What do you think of it, Logan?
Oh, I don't care. Like everyone's blaming the Dodgers as the big bad guys, and they're swooping in on these poor little franchises who are having good negotiations with these players. Listen, it's January. Tanner Scott had no calls. He had one call with the Mets that we heard of a month ago, and no one was signing him. And it's January. The offseason started in November.
Apparently, the Cubs were in on him too.
Okay,
but for 66, I want to say, not for 72. 72,
well,
yeah.
I mean, and so like everyone's blaming, like acting like the Dodgers are just coming in, and that's not. It's so stupid because it's not how it's working at all. It's just the Dodgers probably had no intention of ever signing Tanner Scott. I don't think that. I don't think they had any intention of signing Kirby Yates. I think Roki Sasaki was always going to be a Dodger no matter what.
Are we certain that Kirby Yates is signed with the Dodgers yet? Because we saw the thing, but the Jeff Passan tweet has not gone out and it's not been like official yet.
That's because Jeff Passan only does big news.
It's not official yet. I looked it up actually. It's there. Okay. They're in talks, is what you keep hearing. Still, that's what you keep hearing.
Oh, is it in talks?
I mean, that could mean they signed, right? But that's what the verbiage is still saying. at the point now with it. Just real quick, this will cost you $40 at Disneyland. Just
Oh.
to let you know, that's cost you just that with it. It does come with a Coke though. You can see the hand.
Looks
Very cool.
looks like
So
it
if
was
you
made
want to
in
get,
Korea.
Vietnam, it says that's right. But so that's where you go. But that will cost you a good 40 there. The logo though.
But,
Yeah,
I
Is
mean, there's not-
that deferred money though? Can I pay you $1 now and
you
then
can pay 30 next year. You paid a 10 now.
39 cents per year. Yeah.
Are you guys
Right.
pissed about the deferred money, Logan? Do you think that's part of this with it? Are you?
No, nobody like it. It's like they think that the Dodgers are exploiting this loophole in MLB. There's never been a loophole. It's
$1 billion. I highly do not think that anybody on the freaking MLBPA was all, we should probably put some sort of like curtail on this because I don't know, maybe a team will defer $1 billion with a B.
That wouldn't, not an
Okay,
F.
like I understand that the Dodgers did not create the deferrals. I get it. I understand. Okay, I understand that the Dodgers are not the first team to do this. Yes, $1 billion with a B, Logan.
Who's it hurting though? I mean, it's hurting the players. So if the players don't like it, they don't have to sign.
I'm not saying that it's not hurt. I'm not saying that it's hurting.
But it's for the
anybody.
overall product, right?
I'm just saying that it's a little ridiculous, and I just find it annoying, like very, very annoying.
I think every team should jump on board with this and say, "Hey, we're going to do deferred money." Who is it? The Blue Jays said that they're deferring $62 million out of the $92 million of Anthony Santander's. I mean, they're finally jumping.
Okay, but that is apples and orange. That's not even apples. That's a cherry. That is a cherry versus like a bushel of apples. Logan, again, $1 billion with a B.
Okay,
it's too much. It's too much.
Does it ruin it for you? And that's like I'm talking. As a hardcore baseball fan, you're in conversation with normal people. It feels like that watch baseball. They're like, I'm never watching this. This thing it's too much. They're this with it. They're that with it. My pushback is these cheap ass owners need to do better. Like I'm not saying the Dodgers aren't playing at a higher level, but in my lifetime, the Dodgers were one of the worst teams for 20 years. And they did everything wrong. And then they kind of, and to your point with Suzuki, I was listening to their conference yesterday. He's like, we went over there when he was in high school and we had some great conversations. Like he talking about their relationship with him in high school. Like, yeah, there was something there for sure. But like my thing is, I'm more frustrated, Susie, with the other owners than I am with the Dodgers. Maybe that comes from being an Oakland A's fan that makes this even more like kind of frustration. I mean, because even your Astros, as much as they spend, they're not known for necessarily keeping their homegrown talent all the time. And like, for me, that's where I put it back on the owners. I'm just like, don't be in the game if you don't want to spend with the big boys, and don't be blaming. I don't want this Cubs owner to go, we're here to make it even. It's like, give me a break. Like you're not breaking, you're not breaking even. You're making money. Like, so stop it.
Listen, I said that I want all of the owners to play like they have a fantasy baseball team. Okay. I don't want them to run it like a business. I don't want them to care about the quarter for revenue. I don't care. Yeah. I want them to be Uncle Steve with a big old wallet and saying, you know what, I'm going to put the best team that money can buy out there. And that is what the Dodgers that's what they're doing. And it annoys me because it's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But also the Mets. People were mad that the Mets gave Juan Soto an $850 million freaking contract. And then that died down real quick as soon as the Dodgers were like, oh, hold our beer. We got $1 billion in deferrals coming up. Okay. So that died down very quickly. Yeah. I would like all of the owners to spend like they don't care. Like, but they didn't become billionaires by just spending recklessly.
No.
I mean, also some shady tax practices, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, you become a billionaire because you like money.
So do I want them to take the revenue from their 43 other business whatevers and put it into their baseball team and not run their baseball team like a business? Yes, absolutely. 100%. Susan, thank you.
It's just hard.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not
just frustrating. Go ahead, Logan.
It's not even that it's like the Dodgers are playing like at such a high level. It's that these other teams are not even trying, but they're like acting like they're trying and they're not really. And so they'll just blame the Dodgers. Oh, well, the Cubs were in on Tanner Scott. Oh, but the Dodgers, they came in with more money and we couldn't do that. There are just other teams. And, looking at the 2024 payroll right now, there are 6 teams that were under $100 million in payroll last year. $100 million. And, you think about this because it just clicked for me like a little bit ago. Like whenever the Yankees are at Texas Ranger Stadium, Globe Life, tickets for that skyrocket. Last year, whenever Oakland was closing down, I thought about going to a Yankees game in the Coliseum. Those tickets were skyrocketed. And, I'm sure that it goes way up for the Dodgers too, whenever they're around. And so the fact that, these owners still make money off of the Dodgers coming into town, like, oh, well, we're going to make more money out of this because of the Dodgers have a really great team and they can just beat up on our team. But I'm still making all this money. I think that is the true problem. And I think it's got to start whenever we have the salary floor, like I talked about last week. We have to like.
Would you rather have the floor or the cap?
Floor. It's obviously the floor to me.
Susie,
I think.
What do you
they're
think?
not going to do the floor. They're not going to do the floor without the cap.
They're definitely not doing a cap.
You're not. I mean, we already have a cap as it is, and it's just not called a cap. It's called the freaking luxury tax. And
I think owners are getting tired of that too. I think
people are going around that.
But
really and truly, I like how much of the Dodgers are like. What's the percentage of their payroll is getting taxed, like penalty wise? Because wasn't it like the Yankees? No, it wasn't the Yankees. Sorry, the other New York team that's really good. Oh, the Mets. The Mets are getting taxed like 125%.
Yeah.
Over, like anybody they sign, it's going to be 125% over whatever.
Yeah. I just the
Am
one thing
I
that
on crack?
No, you're right. They are. That's exactly where they're at with it. You froze there for just a second, Susie. That's where it looks like. Do you hear us there, Susie? Jump back on. Was there with it? The one thing with me though that like she is right about Logan. You're right about the opponents. Is the 40 is when you have like for that A's game, that last game I went to, like their tickets were like $8. And then I go to the last game, it's like $50, and I sat way up top. So yeah, I agree with that. Is owners are going to take advantage of certain things with it.
But
Susie, jump back on when you can. You're frozen right there. Jump back on when you can't hear it. I'm going to keep trying to hear it. There you go. She's back. I got her.
But if imagine if I'm going to pick on the Pittsburgh Pirates who paid $84 million in payroll last year. $84 million in payroll last year. If you said we have a salary floor of if we have a salary floor of $120 million, and they said you have to have a payroll of $120 million, then they're not going to spend $120 million on mediocre players. They can't do that. They have to actually try to win so that way they can get a fan base back. And so they would spend some of that money on a Tanner Scott. They would spend some of that money on, who was the other? Anthony Santander. Some of these other guys. They would spend this money.
Well, essentially, isn't that what the MLBPA is doing to the A's right now, because
Yeah,
I mean they're
exactly.
literally they're penalizing them. They're like, hey, you need to spend X amount of dollars or you're not going to get the revenue sharing from all of the other teams. That's why the A's are making moves. Everyone's like, oh, finally the A's are making moves. No, you're making moves because you're literally forced to. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm not giving you kudos.
No.
Because you're being forced to do something that you should have done a whole hell of a long time ago.
Oh, let's sign Leclerc to a $10 million deal. Like, let's not gonna, or let's sign Severino to the biggest contract in franchise history. Are you out of your mind with all the good players the A's have had? He's not. Yeah, that's exactly, Susie. That hits it right on the head.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Even with the floor, I think the floor would help, but it's just fake money. It's fake spending at that point. It's not all. It's not. I get it. It's better than nothing, but it's at the same time. The cap is what.
That's why you have to have a high floor, I think.
But you will never see. The cap is what you need. You need that because it plays out in other sports. That's where it evens out. You've seen the history of it.
Yeah.
Like that's where the fairness comes in. Baseball's different than other sports in terms of the way it's actually played in it. But like NFL, that's why they're more even. The NHL, that's why you see it. The NBA, that's why the cap is what would actually help it. But the players' union. There's no way in God's name they're ever agreeing to something like that. There's just no way.
Well, see, and I have no frame of reference because I literally only watch baseball, so I don't understand how it works in the other sports and like how
it just allows teams to stay more even. Like the NFL, you can't keep guys that get great or too many great guys because you can't afford them. Like in baseball, you can just afford all these great guys and keep them. It kind of evens its way out. And I'm not saying that's a great theory, a great thing all the time. Because I do think teams should be able to keep their players and be able to like build through that. But in these other sports, it's like you can't have too many rich players or it's not going to work. Like it's not going to happen that way. Like it'd be like in basketball, you can't sign the 8 best players in the NBA. It would never be allowed to happen because these guys would want too much money. And so they try to spread that out.
I'm just waiting until like September when the Diamondbacks go on a freaking amazing run and kick the Dodgers out again. Like that's what I'm waiting on. And it's just going to be so extra sweet this season when that happens.
I think a lot of people will enjoy that when it happens with it. Riddell, we appreciate you tuning in here with it. I feel like the MLB needs a stricter luxury tax. Good luck with that. And most other league salary caps that the Dodgers are doing would be illegal. Yes, it would be illegal. NBA does much looser ones, especially when the Warriors got Durant. That was a good one there with that. I'll take that one as a fan over here. But I guess with the Dodgers paranoia, my last thought would be with them is I don't feel sorry for other teams. That's my biggest takeaway is I don't feel sorry for the other teams in that regard whatsoever. And the Dodgers are, I'm not a fan of them or any means or anything like that, but I'm a fan of good baseball. And I'm going to reference this to soccer, international soccer. You have your Barcelonas, you have your Real Madrids that maybe we don't even watch soccer, but you've heard of those names. And I feel like that's where the Dodgers are possibly headed towards on a global stage with some of the players they have on their team from Japan and other ones. Like they're going for a bigger picture. Like it's not just MLB. It's like when you go international, it's Dodgers. They won't even know. Other teams might know the Yankees and a few other teams, but that's where they're headed is like it's them and everybody else. And
well, I mean, they literally have an actual like tour from Japan that is just like a direct. That is what you get. You are specifically coming to LA to go to a Dodger game.
Wow, that's what it is.
Like that's what it is, and crazy. It was just to see Shohei. Now you add in like Roki Sasaki, you add in Yamamoto, and it's just a plus. And I want to say that they're doing like 6 flights a day or something like that. Something stupid.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. And that's where they're making all this money too. Is the Ohtani signing has put them in a position where they're making so much money internationally that it doesn't even matter. And like the Angels had this opportunity. I will say that the Angels had this opportunity when they had them in the same market, basically just a few hours, like literally an hour and a half away from where they were, Anaheim to Los Angeles. They were right there. They had it. Anaheim's not LA, but they had Trout and Ohtani. You're like they had this. They just weren't run as well. And when you and that's what happens. Like you have these with teams like it doesn't always have the big market team's always going to draw more. Of course, if it's in LA, it's in New York, it's gonna matter. But you're seeing it if you're a great team, you're going to get your love. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. If you're well run, you're going to get your love with it. But I do think some fans do worry about, Renell said here, is that European soccer thing where it's 2 to 3 teams every year winning it. Like, that's where you're at. It's just only that. Those are the teams that are going to be involved in these races. But I will say this about baseball. Baseball is one of the more unique sports where it's weirdly talent it doesn't translate always. The Dodgers are in great shape. They have so much room for error that it should not matter. But we've all watched baseball enough to know the best team does not always win. And that still has a lot to be played out during the season. And so
how many wins do they get?
I have them at 106.
Really?
If they don't win over 100 games and win the World Series,
it's a failure.
It is. It's a failure. I honestly, again, I want them bounced in the NLCS. That would be just chef's kiss.
I would like that.
I mean, really and truly, I would love to see them not even get into the playoffs. That's not going to happen. You know, they're going to get a wild card seat or something. But I mean, what? You got 43 starting pitchers? I'm not even kidding. Like 10 starting pitchers?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and Andrew Friedman saying that his goal is not to buy in July. Okay, I get it. Like, I understand. But that starting rotation is a little, I don't want to say flimsy, but who's put up the innings? You know, you got an aging first baseman. I say an aging first baseman. Freddie Freeman is like freaking fountain of youth over there. But you got Mookie Betts who's older. Like, it's very good. Looks good on paper. It looks good on paper. But
and they just won the World Series, right? So it feels even more.
Yeah.
No, there's no points there.
We thought that the Yankees in the 90s were never gonna die. They were like from 96 to 2001. We thought they were going to be like the greatest dynasty ever. They were going to go on to win another 10 World Series. And then they just, after 2001 and 2003, they just kind of fell off.
And the D-backs said, not on my watch.
Yeah.
Thank you,
not
Luis
on my
Gonzalez.
watch.
And so, I mean, yeah, like somehow, like baseball has a way of just
humbles you a little bit.
Fixing itself in a way. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about it.
Oh, I was that way about the Yankees for sure, man. I was back in those days. I was like D-backs. Thank you, God, so much because obviously my A teams never could get the job done to even make it close. And then Josh Beckett, thank you, Marlins for like all that stuff with the Yankees. I wanted to make sure the '90s Yankees never really died down in the 2000. Just competition got better, fair, but they did make it to Game 7 in 2001. They had a chance to win that one. Yeah, they had that, and then they had Moneyball. Then they had the Marlins lost there. All time. Next week with Josh Lewis, hopefully we're getting the baseball movies. That will be the clue. Shout out Josh Lewis there. We'll get him on with it. So yeah, Dodger paranoia. I found that was kind of a big topic this week. Obviously, Suzuki. Susie, I thought you made a good point as we finish it out. Is you look at their rotation, and you're right. The names are there. But you're right. They're not necessarily inning eaters, these guys, but they do have obviously the room for error. They have their Dustin Mays coming back. They have and that's where they have such an advantage is they do have they do have that room for error. But last year they had a ton of injuries at starting, and they still ended up winning the World Series. I will say this though, when you have a lineup the way they have, God, if you're a starting pitcher, you got to feel confident. Like, I mean, you give up 3 runs. It's not like any other team giving up 3 runs. You know your team's getting 3 runs back. And so that does feed the beast a little bit here with it. But for me, I'm kind of intrigued about it. I take the opposite end of a lot of people where it's like, ball humbug. I am actually looking forward to seeing how this plays out. And to me, it's kind of fun that we have a little bit of a super team here in Major League Baseball. That's kind of my thoughts with it. I'm kind of excited we have one. And just kind of see, like you said, can anybody take them down? And somebody take them down with it.
What did you say, Logan?
I said no more hatred towards the Yankees. They're no longer the evil empire.
Oh,
No.
well, and that's what really cracks me up is that I see so many Yankee fans crying about what the Dodgers are doing. I'm all, do you forget what team you root for? Like, you want to talk about all these rings that you won and all that stuff. You won those rings because essentially the Yankees did what the Dodgers are doing now without the deferred money. Like any big free agent, like Daddy Steinbrenner said, "Come on, I'll pay you." Am I right?
Listen, do not disrespect King George. Okay, listen, he was.
I'm not trying to disrespect. I'm saying that he put his money where his mouth is. He
Yeah,
paid the
he
big
did.
free agents, right? Like he
He did.
said, any big free agent, like I'm gonna go pay him. He's not Hal Steinbrenner over here counting his chickens and like saying, sorry, Juan Soto, I can't give you a suite because I'm not giving Aaron Judge a suite. Daddy Steinbrenner would have been like, Juan Soto, do you want a suite? You want 2 suites? Let's go. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But like, that's what makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing these Yankee fans crying about what the Dodgers are doing, and I'm all, you did the things too, though.
Oh, that's what they did.
Before.
Yeah. Especially in the
really
90s. Yeah.
Them and the Red Sox, it was arms races for A-Rod and stuff like that. I mean, that's exactly what the whole thing was. That's kind of what I compare it to in my mind. That's what I think about Red Sox, Yankees, like literally 2000, 2001, 2002. That's what it would be. That's what it kind of felt like with that. My buddy Brian tuning in. Brian, this is not a foosball show. Yes, the Rangers did get a new GM though, but I appreciate you tuning in with it, Brian. My fellow Oakland A's fan out here went to a lot of dollar hot dog nights on Wednesday night, me and Brian. Brian, we never did do the 9-9 talent challenge. Did you guys hear about that? I saw it's can you drink 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings? I've never been able to accomplish that, but let's see. I've never been able to do. I don't think I'd be able to make it alive after that one.
I heard a story of someone did 7 before the first pitch. 7 hot dogs.
It was that Shane Gills guy, I think. That
yes,
you're
Shane Gills.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? I would never do that. I think
Michelob Ultra. Is that what you're drinking there?
Oh dear God, no! Definitely not Michelob Ultra.
60 calories. Is that what?
Maybe dip the hot dog in the beer so that way it goes down quicker.
No. We're not doing anything like that.
Don't start that with me.
Oh, Logan's
Yankee fans get so are so annoyed by the not winning one in over 15 years.
That they can go bite it. Yeah, they got to deal with it.
Hey.
They got to deal with it. I mean, my goodness,
Yankee
nobody's complaining about
fine
that.
People.
They're very fine jello. Exactly what they. All right, Logan, you got the wheel of death there ready for you? We'll go through this a little faster.
I went ahead and did it. So first pick is Darren, second is me, and Susie is third. I'm sorry, Susie.
That's rigged. Rigged, I tell you.
Yeah.
I'm good, Logan.
It was made in North Korea, so yeah, it makes sense.
Rude.
I saw
and racist, Logan. Please.
I'm not the one who made the app.
I'm gonna remember this, Logan.
Susie, just keep chiming in and taking cheap shots at him when he's never on the show. That's what we need from you. That's my favorite part is to get your cheap shots on Logan. Now I saw that on MLB they did. We didn't even plan this with them, but they did top 10 shortstop voted by fans yesterday, and I was surprised Gunnar Henderson was number 1. I just was a little surprised that he was number 1 on the list. Their list surprised me. I'm going Bobby Witt Jr. I just think he's the most electrifying shortstop in Major League Baseball right now, entering 2025. He plays good defense. He hits for some power. He has speed. He's the guy. I mean, there's a lot of good players on this list, but he's the guy. If I'm picking a team, this time at June last year, I took Gunnar Henderson. I've switched a little bit. Bobby Witt Jr., I was wrong. I should have had you at number 1 last year. He's my first pick. Anybody have a problem with that one?
No, anybody? I do.
No, you do? Okay.
Mainly because I wanted him, but
okay, so that's right.
Runner up in MVP, so I mean, makes sense.
And it'll be interesting how he builds off last year. I'm curious to see how the Royals do based off last season, which was such a good season for them. Curious to see what he does. The weight's going to be on him a little bit more this year. The expectations are going to be just as high. So we'll see where he goes with it. Logan, what do you got for number 2?
I did pick Gunnar Henderson. He was going to be my number 1 anyway. So I like Gunnar Henderson. I don't know why Bobby Witt is just I don't know. I just don't think he's all that in a bag of chips. But Gunnar Henderson, he's won Rookie of the Year. Right? Yeah, he did win. But he's just a standout in an already talented team in the Orioles, and Gunnar Henderson was just my guy.
Do you think the Orioles have taken a step back this offseason, Susie?
What is more than a step back?
They lost Burns, right? They lost Burns. They gained
2 steps back, like
1 step
43
forward.
steps back. I mean, you lose Tony Taters, you lose freaking Corbin Burns. And everyone's like, how dare you disrespect our pitching? What pitching? You have Grayson Rodriguez as your number 1. Like, don't get me wrong, I love G-Rod, but as your number 1, like, you're gonna sit here and tell me that you're cool with Grayson Rodriguez taking the ball in game 1?
Yeah.
Stop it.
And Aaron wants me to stop it. We did this list last year, Susie, in June, where I had Lindor at 7 as the best shortstops in baseball. Because I've always been kind of anti-Lindor in some ways because he gets off to slow starts a little bit. So I had him at 7. Aaron, you'll be much happier where I have him this year. I'm sorry I don't have Lindor at number 1. Logan said you'd be pissed if I didn't have him at number 1.
He was right. I tried to warn him.
He tried to warn me. Already tried to warn me. He's like, you got to take him number 1, or Aaron's gonna bite your head off on this one.
Let's
see where Susie has him at 3.
You stop it. I'm taking Francisco Lindor.
Okay,
because
Susie has him at 3.
Because I'm a smart baseball fan.
Would you have took him 1? You wouldn't have took him 1.
I mean, if I had the first number overall pick, then no, I probably would.
Okay, good.
Okay, but he's number 1 on my list because
on my list.
Yeah.
I had him
Lindor
3. I had him 3 too. Where did you have?
I think I had Lindor at number 9 on my list. I still don't like Lindor.
Just trying to ruffle the feathers. He was bad. I mean, he finished second at MVP voting or something last year. No, Lindor definitely believes. Lindor's always a weird one for me because he gets off to such a slow start sometimes. But he carried him last year. He's a great defender. Aaron, number 3. Are you happy with me there on it? I had him at 3. I had Bobby Witt. I went Henderson, and I went Lindor. I had a number 3 at the Logan. Back to you at 4. Or do you?
We're doing Snake.
Yeah, we're doing. What do you got?
Oh, well then no. So Susie has.
So then I go then.
Yeah.
Are we going snake draft? All right, we'll go snake draft.
Well, I mean,
let's go snake draft. We'll go snake draft.
If you want to do snake draft, that's fine. I was
thinking regular.
Okay.
I was thinking regular. We'll go to Susie.
Well, I mean, let's go. Then it's your turn if it's regular draft.
Yeah, if it's regular, then it's your turn.
My turn number 1. Let's go snake draft. Susie, you go 4. So you got Lindor at 3. Who do you take as maybe your 4th best shortstop in the league here? And 3.
Okay. I need you to know how much this pains me to do. Like physically, mentally, emotionally. But freaking Corey Seager, come on down.
Oh.
Wow. I had him pretty high too. I
thought I would be able to get him.
I had him 5
because I am a smart baseball fan. Like I understand that Corey Seager is a very good shortstop just for a horrible team.
Franchise, maybe let's throw that in there for you. Is the Rangers Astros rivalry a thing? Is that a thing over there?
It's a thing in my world.
It's a thing in my world. All right, I like that.
Susie is like the Michael Jordan of baseball fans, where she just takes everything personally. They beat us? Okay, well, let's see how this works.
Let's beat the crap out of it, will you?
Yeah.
I had Seager 5 based on what me and you had talked about with a certain guy, Mr. Logan Stone. Let's see where you go. And the one real quick with Seager, that was part of the reason the Rangers sucked last year. You couldn't stay healthy very well either. He's a great player. No doubt about it. And he obviously was awesome the year they won the World Series. And it's Bruce Bochy coaching a team So I expect him to be back in the World Series this year. Every other year, that's what Brother Bruce does. So we'll see if the Rangers are back in it this year, Susie. There's going to be a rivalry, I know, between you guys and the
Listen,
Astros
if
year.
Adolis needs to juice again, by all means, like that's, he was juicing then, it's juicing again. Like that's fine. That's fine.
He says, yes, Astros have a rivalry with the nearby Rangers and the furthest team from us, the Mariners. A little rivalry with the Mariners. We got little Rangers, Mariners love there. Astros, Mariners. Logan, back to you. Snake draft. We have Witt, Gunner, Lindor, Seager. Who you got next?
Oh, I don't know. There's one guy I really want, but I think that if I don't get this one guy, you're going to get him. So I'm going to take Mookie.
Yeah, he was my next. I had him 4.
Yeah.
If we went shortstop.
Okay, so hold on. Is he really gonna play shortstop next season? Is he really?
This was a big thing for me with this list.
He was the shortstop last year, so
he started second base last year, right? Wasn't second base his thing?
No, shortstop was his thing last year.
I thought second base.
They wanted to give Lux the second baseman, but yeah, I think they've even said that he's going to play shortstop next year. So, yeah, I imagine.
Why? Whatever.
Because he's a jack of all trades and a master of none, but he's awesome also. So, and he's getting older. He can't be playing outfield as much anymore.
No, guys are grabbing his hands. We don't want that anymore. We don't want fans ripping his hands off anymore. He's got to stay safe.
Those fans are national treasures. Okay.
my favorite part is they had Rob Gronkowski, that tight end for the Patriots X1. I recognize him. He went to my school at University of Arizona.
It makes sense.
Like just as random. It makes sense, I guess. Even though
it makes sense that Gronk would know him.
All right, so I go 2 picks here. That leaves me with De La Cruz. I'm taking him 6. They give me the guy.
Really?
Yeah, I know the defense is sometimes a little bit to be desired, but like I said, there's certain guys that can't do certain other things. A lot of the other shortstops on this list cannot do what De La Cruz does. He's electric. If he can figure it out just a little bit more, I feel very confident about him entering 2025 as my 6th best shortstop in the league, and I expect him to take a better jump this year as well. So I got him as 6, and then Logan. A lot of people.
I knew it.
I'm taking Mr. Turner at number 7. I'm taking Mr. Turner.
I knew you were going to screw me.
I can't believe MLB Network, the fans voted him 10. That kind of had me a little surprised that he was number 10 on their list. So I go De La Cruz.
They don't understand the greatness when they see it.
All right, so if we
they
go
look at batting average.
What do you guys make of? We know Turner, but just Susie, what's your thoughts on De La Cruz? We haven't.
Do we know about Turner?
Are you in on him?
I like him. I like him a lot. And I do think I agree with you there. Like I think if he can just strike out just a little bit less,
that'd be
nice. Great. He's electric. He is electric to watch, and stealing all the bags. Yes, give me all of that. Yes, please.
What's my buddy Tyler say? But he plays defense with a kitchen glove. So that's the only problem there that he might have, is that he can't play some defense. But the Reds are an intriguing team for me next year. Guys like him just always have intrigued me. Jose Reyes, Mets, like that combination of some speed, power, like those are the guys that have always kind of intrigued me over the years. And so for him, he jumps to it. Trey Turner feels like a steal at 7.
Oh my gosh, 218 strikeouts last year.
Yeah, what, are you surprised?
Wow. That makes Joey Gallo look. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but Joey Gallo stole 2 bases a year. At least this guy's getting on base and getting singles into doubles and doubles into triples.
I just didn't even know you could get 218 strikeouts in a year.
No, this is new baseball. You're allowed to strike out 300 times and still play baseball. Ichiro, Far Cry. How many times did Ichiro strike? What do you have? Trey Turner on the Phillies should be much higher. Should he be higher than Betts? Should he be higher than Seager?
Should be higher than De La Cruz, I think.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
I have snake draft, so I have 6, 7. Okay, well, I'll put Turner at 6. We'll go there at 7. Where do you have him then, Riddell? Do you have it? Where would you put Turner on this list?
Yeah,
Logan, back to you at 8. Who do you got?
Let's see. Who do I have?
Mason Wynn.
Yeah.
He's not going Cardinals.
I'm gonna go with Xander Bogaerts.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't, but that's who I'm going with. I think he had an off year last year, but I think he's proven that he's a great player, but yeah, he's gonna have a turnaround season this year. He's got his team.
He's gonna have to.
Yeah.
Him and Tatis are the only him, Tatis, and Jackson Merrill just carrying that team.
Yeah.
Love me some Jackson Merrill, though. Love me some Jackson.
By the way, Ellie De La Cruz, I think he would do so well if he had like a veteran presence in his lineup. Like, I don't know who would be great to just keep him grounded, but also like say, hey, you can still do your thing, but also
that's why they got Jonathan India.
Oh,
they traded
Jonathan India.
They traded Mr. India to the Royals there. So we'll see.
You're right. Sorry, Gavin Lux. That's what they got. Gavin Lux.
They got Gavin Lux there for it over it. I think maturity with it. Real quick here, he has Turner at 5. Logan, I'm surprised you didn't take him at 5. Logan,
I know.
Logan has a relationship with Turner. I
thought maybe there was we were going to live in the unspoken rule of Trey Turner is my boy, and like no one else gets him.
Susie, this next pick is yours, and this comment kind of fits. Is Pena number 9 on your list? No, there's
absolutely not. You give me Willy Adames right now.
All right,
wow.
There you go.
You give me Willy Adames right now.
That was next on my list.
Jeremy Pena is on my shit list. Are you kidding me?
Why is he on the shit list? Why is he on the shit list? Just what's the main reason? Just incompetent baseball player.
That too. That too. Like if you're not gonna lay off the loan away sliders, Jeremy Pena, the least that you can do is make the routine plays. Please, for the love of God, just make the routine plays. Okay, you don't need to make the ESPN highlight plays. Just make the routine ones. Can you give me some Gold Glove defense? No, cool, love that.
But no, he's an interesting player because he has the potential to cut. It feels like he has the potential to crack a top 10 list. It'll be interesting if like Bregman does end up leaving, which it looks like. Does he kind of fill a void there? Offensively, they're definitely going to need him to. But yeah,
I think he will, though.
Yeah,
I don't think he will. Like I think Jeremy Pena is an average bat. Like 100, 105 OPS plus. That I think that's who he is. But I think his biggest plus was his glove, was his defense. And last season and the season before that has just been slipping even more and more. And so if you're not going to give me that, Jeremy Pena, I need you to bump up your defense. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. All right, so you have Pena, you have
Willie.
You have Willie. That's a good. I feel like at 9, that's a good value there. All right, let's go to 12. That'll be. Then we'll finish it out with one more pick here from it. If you had him 9, who would be number 10 for you? You got a few guys left. You have Swanson. You have Wynn. You have Bichette. You have Correa. You have Tovar. You have Neto. Who would be your last pick here at shortstop if you had to take one? Abrams.
Give me Dansby. No, give me Dansby then. Give me Dansby.
All right, he was next on my list after you ended up with Adames there. He's always been kind of an interesting player to me because he was drafted really high out of LSU. Obviously, went to the Braves. I don't know, he's just an interesting guy. It feels like he's got a little overpaid, but can he put it together? Obviously, his glove is what got him paid. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm with you. We're getting to 10 now, so you're not going to get many arguments from me on that one. Logan, let's wrap it up. Your pick, and then I'll finish it out. Who do you have for your? And I'm going to post this tomorrow on X. I'll put your 4, my 4, Susie's 4. We'll see what the people of America think. What do you got with it, Logan? Here.
I am actually going to go with Mason Wynn.
Whoa, Cardinal Nation, baby! Look out!
I know. I'm being a homer, and that's new for me. But yeah, Mason Wynn, for a rookie last year, he took tremendous strides. The best bat, arguably, in the lineup, which is
Alec
amazing to
Burleson would
say.
like a word, sir.
Oh, Alec Burleson sucks. Yeah, Mason Wynn, really great defensively, and then even if he can be better than Ozzie Smith, which isn't saying much, offensively, then we are going to be doing really well. So I like Mason Wynn. So he's my number 4.
When just to answer Renell's comment here about the one about him at Swanson, I had Swanson. I feel like when you took Bogarts, that was the one that threw off our list the most in terms of me, where I had some of our guys ranked. So I would have had him at 9 with Swanson there. But I think Swanson leaves a lot to be desired from an outside. Kind of how you just talked about your guy with Pena. Like, if I was a Cubs fan, I'd have frustration with Swanson, like with some of his at bats, like all the time. I would have some big issues with him with it. Walk off. We're gonna get to hear it a minute with you. Popping in to say, hope you're all well. Astros daily walk off. Susie, yes, we are gonna do an Astros daily walk off. We'll test Susie's knowledge here with it, see if she could get some stuff done with it, and we'll have a little fun with it. I hope you're doing good out there. Appreciate your support of the show as well out there in Seattle. We got to get a Mariners one in here. Maybe me and Logan will test our Mariners knowledge here in a little bit as well with that. All right, so I got last pick here at 12. This is what I'm thinking. You guys let me know. I have it down to 3 guys. I have it Bo Bichette, Correa, Tovar. Those are the 3 guys I have it kind of down to my final 3. I go Carlos Correa at 12. He would be the next shortstop I would take. Susie, is that an idiotic choice? Is Correa lower than 12? MLB Network had him at 7. That surprised me a little bit.
I don't know if I don't know. I feel like I would probably go Bo Bichette over Carlos Correa just because of the fact that, like, Carlos Correa can't stay on the field, and I think Bo Bichette's going to have a bounce back year.
Yeah.
I think I would probably take Bichette over Correa.
It gets interesting with him on it. Logan, you said, wow. What do you think?
Oh, I don't like Bo Bichette at all.
What do you not like about him? Injuries too, or what?
Injuries. He's just never, like, I don't know why, but he was in that same class with Kevin Biggio and some of those other guys, and just they thought the ceiling was going to be up here, and then the ceiling turned out to be down here, and I don't think he's all that.
Just because you're jealous of Bo Bichette's hair doesn't mean that you have to talk shit about him. Okay, just
you know what? That's a lot to maintain. That's why I need such a big contract so he can keep all that product money. So no, I don't need
product is important. People, trust me. Look at the hair.
I would rather. Yeah, I think Correa is still really good. So.
Oh no, I think Correa is still very good. I just wish that he could stay on the field just a little bit longer.
It would be nice if he could. All right, so we got a list just here. Let me go. So I took Bobby Witt. I got De La Cruz, Turner, and Correa. Logan has Gunnar Henderson, Mookie Betts, Xander, 8 overall, and he has Mason Wynn. Susie ended up with Lindor, Seager, Adames, and Swanson. So tomorrow, like I said, I'll post that, see what you guys think of it. Did you see the picture of the? No, he looked all wrong with no law. I did not see that. I gotta see Bo. Did he cut the hair or he cut it off? So I gotta take a look at this. With the short hair, I'm gonna have to see what Bo. We got modeled Bo. We got a different little Bo there with it. Couple names just to throw it out there. Tavar, like I said, we nobody took him. Neto from the Angels. I was kind of impressed with him a little bit last year. Volpe, I don't know. We got him on the list. Abrams. We had Abrams in the top 10 in June last year. Logan, remember we talked about him. He had a fall off in the second half there, and then I have Kim, obviously, who was the Padres shortstop as well last year. So there were some guys that we left off on the list. I gotta look at the hair, the Bo with no hair with it. So that's our shortstops with it. We'll do that again. We'll kind of keep this going throughout the offseason. It's kind of fun looking at the top 10 list and who we have with some of these guys. All right, let's get to Diamond Notes. Got diamond notes here with it. A couple things here. You guys choose where you want to go with it. Like we said, Santander sends with the Blue Jays. The guards add Paul Sewald. I like that little pickup for the Guardians there as well. The great Bob Uecker passes away. We didn't get a chance to talk about that, Logan. That happened after our show last week. The Braves today signed Profar to a 3-year deal as well. Tim Anderson, don't have it on there. He signs a minor league deal with the Angels. I kind of sneaky like that with Ron Washington as the coach with the Angels. Thing there with it as well. Logan, Diamond knows what part of that stands out to you.
I mean, the Bob Uecker stuff. I mean, it's not it's sad in a weird way, but I mean, he was also like 93 years old, so I mean, he had a long life. It's funny to me, just hearing all the stories that he had, how funny he was. I always forget how hilarious he was as a player or not a player, as a broadcaster. And he was very colorful too. So like the character you saw on Major League was pretty much the same, that he was basically who he was.
Okay. I just looked up Bo Bichette with no hair and I approve.
Approve of the message. We're a fan, Susie? Is that what you're saying?
I approve.
I approve of the message. Logan, no comment. Is that what you have? Just stay on the field. I expect better average now at this point. Daily Walkoff also said Susie won our draft. Well, yeah, she had the snake draft. No, we got that. We had the third. No, just kidding. Hey, let's look.
If I had the third pick, I'd win.
If I had the third pick, I'd win. You got Gunner.
You got Gunner. Like, what are you talking about?
You could have took Lindor. You could have took Seager over there.
Top 10 MLB hair draft.
Next time, I like that one. We'll have to do that top 10 hair draft. There's a lot of guys with a lot of good lettuce out there. We'll see who can do it. Look at some guys on the list. Was the guy from Minnesota? He shaved his head last year. Or didn't shave his head. Was it Ryan? I remember the ladies were liking him a little bit after last year, the starting pitcher there for the Twins. So there's a guy. Is that Ryan?
Joe Ryan.
Yeah,
Joe Ryan.
So there are some. I know he got some after he cut the hair too. He got a lot of love too from the better half. So we'll see. We'll see if he. We got an idea there. Maybe you should do that for one of your walk-offs here. Best hair. Who's got that? Who's got the longest hair there for that? Logan, what do you got for? Or Susie, what do you see with this? What do you think of Profar maybe going to the Braves?
I can't wait to see what that outfield does. Like, I need to see, was Jurickson like one and done with the Padres last season? Like, I need to see which version of Profar the Braves are going to get.
Yeah.
So,
do you think he's a quality player? I mean, how do you feel about him overall as a player? Are you kind of iffy on him? Because he has kind of been a utility. Yeah.
I liked him. Hell, I wanted the Astros to sign him. Like, give me Jurickson Profar in left field. Yes, absolutely. Over Mauricio Dubon? Yes, please.
3 years, 42 doesn't seem extreme. Like,
it doesn't.
It's not, it's kind of an interesting one.
But the fact that he got one from, like, literally $1 million from the Rockies.
Yeah.
Last season, it wasn't.
No, he was with the Padres last year.
No, was it? But I thought he got no. So 2 years ago then.
Yeah.
Because he got traded from.
He was
signed with the Rockies, and then he got traded back to the Padres.
Yep. And then before that,
he signed with the Padres for $1 million.
And then he got the deal, and then he got the big deal this year, obviously after last year. Having a good deal, and he was a number one prospect overall in baseball for 2 to 3 years. I mean, he
Rangers.
Like sometimes it clicks a little bit later. I like him going to the Braves because they're kind of a steady franchise. Is kind of how I look at it too with some of this stuff. The Braves are kind of in a weird spot a little too. We'll see what Strider does when he gets back this year as well. I
saw a thing saying that he's not going to be on the opening day roster.
That's what I saw too. So they're going to give him more time, it looks like, as well, to come back. So I would expect a May or June kind of return for him. They're going to play it extra safe with him.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned Santander getting the deferred money. The Blue Jay, I just wanted to talk about the Blue Jays for a second because they've always been like the bridesmaid a little bit here. It feels like the last few years, as you kind of say, right, with some of the free agents they've gotten or they haven't been able to get. I guess we shall see. And it feels like with the Guerrero thing coming to an end, it feels like that's going to come to an end. And then when you have Mr. Male Model Bo Bichette, possibly with a new hairstyle coming to it, leaving as well after this, you're leaving two guys that were supposed to be this core to a franchise that led to a lot. What was it? 2 years ago they made the postseason. They were out early in the wild card round. Man, it doesn't feel. It feels kind of icky if I was a Blue Jays fan a little bit right now. I don't know. Like, where do you guys sit with the Blue Jays a little bit headed into the season, Susie? How do you kind of assess them a little bit here?
I don't know. If I was a Blue Jays fan, I'd be so pissed. I would.
Me
I would
too.
be so upset and always and the fact that they were even mentioned in the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes.
And Otani, remember a couple of years ago?
Just like how? Why? Like, why would you do that to Blue Jays fans? Like, even if they actually were a finalist, like don't string them along again. Just no. Just no. And I don't know. And it just feels squandered. Like, I feel like that's the key word for the Blue Jays, because they squandered Vladdy and Bo Bichette's quote unquote good years. George Springer ain't getting any younger. Like, when Dalton Varsho, moves from catcher and to center field, and like that's your guy. What are you doing? It just I don't know.
It's a weird franchise. They're in Canada. They're like the one team there. Yeah, it's a weird team. Logan, what's your thoughts on just the Blue Jays there real quick?
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays are, to me, the exact opposite of what I always thought So a couple years ago, I used to think that, the Astros' reign of terror is coming to an end soon because their minor league system is just terrible because they traded half of those guys for Greinke and all this, and their time is kind of coming up and they just never did. The Blue Jays are the exact opposite in the sense of, they look so good right now. They could give the Yankees a run for their money and the Orioles a run for their money. And they just never did. And so I never put any stock into the Blue Jays. I don't know why. I mean, a couple of years ago when they had so many good players. They had Donaldson at a certain point, and a prime Donaldson, and all these other guys, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and who was it? Bo Bichette, who was really good at the time. And they had really good players, and they just something never really clicked. I mean, they have Kevin Gossman, and they had what's his name?
Alek Manoah when he was real good.
Yeah, Alek.
What happened to him? My goodness, that was yeah.
But Ray, he's with the Giants now.
Oh yeah, Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray was really good with them. They had so much talent, and it just never clicked. And I think that's whenever you think, oh yeah, this is a problem with the management there too. It's just, so I think it starts from the top, and you got to kind of work it down. And unfortunately, no one wants to sign with the Blue Jays. So,
well, like I said, like Canada, I don't know. It's the one team. So if you're not from that area, if you're not up north, maybe there's just not that allegiance to that area, that northeast allegiance. And the Blue Jays have it hard right now. And I think, like I said, I think they had a great opportunity when you draft somebody like Vladimir Guerrero. You have Bo Bichette. You have that kind of nucleus to be able to build. And it just feels disappointing. And when you get somebody like Santander for 5 years, $92.5 million, it feels like a reach. That's what it feels like it just feels like a reach. And I don't think I'd be surprised if anybody else was even like $20 million in that area. And that would just be mine. Maybe I'm wrong about it. I'd be curious what the next best offer was for him. That would be something that'd be kind of fun to see if you were his agent. Like, what was the second best offer for him on the market as well? So Susie, I want to get your thoughts as I get to baseball bonanza, and then before we get to trivia here, which we'll see how you do with that one. But we talked about Alonso and Bregman. You've come in on Bregman a few times. Where are you sitting now with him? I heard the GM yesterday speak about it. Offers out there. It sounds like it's not happening. But where do you sit with this Alonso Bregman thing? And we'll start with Bregman.
I don't know. I don't know now.
Are you over it? Are you like
I'm so over it. Like,
yeah.
Bregman, just like Red Sox. What are we doing? Just pay him the money and just get it over with. Like that's what literally all of Red Sox Nation wants. That's like I made my peace with Bregman leaving, but now the door is open, still open, apparently with the Astros. I don't know why. Like we got Isaac Paredes to play third. And now we're thinking that we're gonna put tiny little Jose Altuve in left field. Like, what are you doing? Like, as soon as he runs into the frickin' scoreboard, we're all going to just die of heart palpitations because there's no way Short King out there in left field is gonna happen. Like, just no. So, like, he doesn't have the like. I love Jose Altuve. Do not get it twisted. I love him. But he doesn't have the arm. Like his defense at second is already like going down. So that's the plan. Like people were saying, okay, Bregman is going to play third. We're going to move Isaac to second and Jose Altuve to left field. Yeah. The F are we doing, people? Just stop it. Like just move Isaac out there. Like do that instead. We already got outfielders out there that can't throw. It's fine. Just throw Isaac Paredes out there and just be done with it. Like, I'd rather him than freaking Mauricio Dubon. If Bregman is coming back, like, it better be for, I don't know, 2-3 years on a high AAV contract and then be done with it. Because if we sign him for 5-6 years, I'm going to be pissed.
I just can't see that happening. You guys have kind of made that clear that you won't be doing that as an Astros franchise. The Alonso one's getting interesting for me. You have the Blue Jays getting thrown into that name again. Are they kind of starting to get used again? It feels like in the regard.
Like, what are we doing, Mets? Like, Mets. Like it's the Mets. What are you doing? I don't. And everyone's like, "Oh, Brett Beatty's fine." Like, we'll put Brett Beatty at third and Mark Vientos at first. Why? What are you doing? Stop it. Just no.
Yeah, and it's a perfect contract for the Mets because they love overpaying for mediocre players. So, I mean, it just makes sense that they would re-sign Alonso. But, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had that.
You just had one. You wanted to throw a cheap shot there. I get that.
I did want to throw a cheap shot because the Mets they suck.
Do you think Alonso? See, my theory is he's not going to sign until March. I've been saying that for a couple months. I've been saying that since last offseason. Would he? Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Boris's clients have done it before. I mean, Bregman has a better chance because he has 5 suitors. It seems like that he would so it seems like he'll be signing sooner because he actually has a market for him. But Alonso's is like it feels like there's a big gap between what he wants and what they want, and I don't think Bregman's is as big anymore. I think at the beginning, Bregman was like, I want this too. I feel like there's some reality that's setting in there. And like I said, I think at this point, Logan, I've been saying this week in and week out now is like, I think the longer this goes on, in my opinion, he feels underrated a little bit as time is going on with him. Cause I'm like, I don't know, like Susie, like, how do you feel about that? Do you see a massive decline with Bregman or do you I'm just saying like the more time goes on, I'm like, yeah, he's not worth $250 million or that, but I'm just saying like he's still a professional like hitter. He's a clutch hitter, it seems like. Or do you see there's a massive decline with him?
Well, listen, like I've watched enough Bregman to know that just he gets hot when he gets hot, and to not expect anything from him March, April, beginning of May, like middle of May on.
Yep.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine, and he'll be the Alex Bregman that you know and love. And I think this last season he was trying too hard, And I think he was trying to get the bag, and that's why his strikeout numbers were up and his walk rate was down. And I just, at this point, just sign somewhere, Alex Bregman, and put me out of my misery. Okay. Pete Alonso, though, like literally the day that the Astros signed Christian Walker, it literally felt like Pete Alonso's market went in 2.5 seconds. When 43 first basemen signed on that day, I'm all, wait, where Pete Alonso didn't sign on this day? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
And the fact that like we pivoted, everybody else pivoted, like there's really only two teams.
Yeah.
That could do something.
I'm surprised the Giants aren't on it. I mean, like they're talking about having like Lamont Wade Jr. at first base. Like I don't have no idea what I'm not saying the Giants should pay him 150 million or something like that, but the Giants should be in it on Alonso. Like there is no right for a team like that. Buster Posey, come on, buddy. I know you signed Willie Adames, but they should be in on a guy like that, especially with the division they're in. And they got, and Logan wasn't. Well, Logan, I believe it was you. You weren't a big fan of the Astros signing Walker, right? You kind of were like the contract was a lot for you because of the age, right?
Yeah, and I think it was just confusing it with what the Astros kind of their game plan seemed to be versus what they're doing, which was paying players to kind of win. And so it seemed like they were in kind of a little bit of a rebuild, and then they were not. And then,
well, that's what happens when your owner tries to play manager and signs 2 horrible contracts without a freaking, GM. Like you sign a freaking Rafael Montero Jr. to 3 years and $1 bajillion. And
I'm a big Montero guy, but you're right. He got paid. He got paid a lot for a relief pitcher. There is no doubt about that. So it'll be interesting what Alonso. Like I said, I'm the same way. We'll see you in March. That's where I'm at with Pete Alonso.
Sounds like
we'll see you in March.
Sounds like Alonso's going to or have intensified talks with the Blue Jays. So that's kind of interesting.
Going to Canada, baby. That's where we're headed. We're headed to Canada with it. Daily walk-off. Let's do it real quick here. Let's see if Susie has her Astros.
Oh gosh,
we could get it with it. All right, so the categories here. I don't know, Susie, you've seen this game online or at X, but it's kind of fun just to practice knowledge with it. As you got 2001 top 3 hits, 1990s top 3 saves, 2010 top 3 wins. Played for the New York Yankees. I feel like I got the saves already here. We got Todd Jones, Billy Wagner, the Hall of Famer, everybody. And then I got Doug Jones here in the 1990s as my saves. 2001, I don't think Beltran could be there. Is Beltran there in 2001?
No. So Beltran and Berkman both played for the Yankees.
All right. Bagwell's got to be in the hit thing over there.
Well, Justin Verlander definitely did not play for the Yankees. I know that much.
So he's got to be in the wins.
Pettit goes in the Yankees category too.
Yep. How about Colin how about our guy
Colin McHugh?
Does he go there?
McHugh.
He's a relief pitcher.
Would he go?
But he was a starter for the Astros for a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah. So top 2000s top 3 in wins. Dallas Keuchel would be in that Doug Drabek part.
Yeah.
Doug Drabek, where's Doug at? Over here, 2000 wins.
I like that. Wait, hold on. Beltran needs to go into the Yankees category.
Over who?
Over Drabek.
So does he go to the? Yeah, but Doug Drabek was a pitcher. He's not a hitter. So he can't be there at the
top 3 hits.
Because Beltran was in 2004.
So Berkman's got it. Berkman's got to be there then.
No.
You want me to put Doug there? Should we see what Doug has?
I think so. Because I don't.
Doug as a pitcher, he had more. He had the hits. He would have been a pitcher at that point.
Well, hold on. Colin McHugh, Dallas Keuchel.
It's got to be Lance the Pants somewhere.
Maybe I don't know Todd Jones or Doug Jones. So
Todd Jones was a relief pitcher, and so was Doug Jones. Okay. That's where
maybe I'm wrong.
I think Lance. I'm going to say Lance is going to do 2001, but let's see where you're at with it. Yep, I think Lance is the guy. Yeah. Yep, that's the one there. We got Lance there with it. We hit there with it. All right. that we got pretty close there on the
So
first.
he tricked me. Daily walk-off tricked me.
He did. He
I
did
thought that
trick
would
you on
exclude
that
him.
one. Let's go. We'll go Yankees for CC Sabathia making the Hall of Fame. 2001 hits leaders. You got Bernie Williams. Junior's got to be there over Sabathia. He's
Ellsbury would
be
be played in Boston.
Ellsbury, where we got Els. He's over there. We'll put Steve. We're far away over there. Tino's not there. Tino's got to be for Steve Farr, right? That's got to be there.
Tanaka's 2010's wins. Mariano's saves, obviously.
Yep. Where would Nova be?
Ivan Nova is a 2010's wins.
Mike Stanley. I'm gonna go there.
Saves.
I like that.
Tino, Derek. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
I like that. Dang it, Steve! You let us down.
It's always.
I thought Steve was gonna. He let us down with that one. Come on, Steve. I thought you were gonna do it.
Remember how good Jacoby Ellsbury was, and then he got traded to the Yankees.
70 stolen bases.
Horrible.
It's supposed to be.
Oh my gosh!
I thought he was going to be the end all be all for all guys.
How many of those players did you know, Susie?
I knew Jacoby Ellsbury and Derek Jeter, and I heard of Tanaka.
Susie, you're going to know of this player. You're going to know of him for my MLB trivia. But I know this is going to be tough. I know it's going to be tough. I'm
not even going to cheat on this one.
No, you're not. You better not. We've got MLB trivia. Logan Stone, let's see what you got with it. Susie, we're here to help. We're here to get people knowledge up. Okay. There you go. Hit number 1. I played 16 seasons from 1992 to 2007, playing for 5 teams, finishing my career with the Oakland A's and amassing 427 homers. I was elected to the Hall of Fame, Logan Stone, in 2016. Do you have a guess, or should I move on already to hint number 2? Should I go to hint?
I feel like I know this.
Yeah, of course you know it. You know him.
I definitely do not know this.
You might, Susie, as we move on here.
Hit that second.
Let's go second here. I was a 12-time All-Star, a 10-time Silver Slugger winner. I actually won the All-Star Game MVP in 1996 in Philadelphia with a home run. I also won Rookie of the Year my first full year in 1993. National League Rookie of the Year as well, just to make that clue even better for you, Logan Stone. Now, Susie, me and Logan have something going where if I pick a Yankee, he usually never gets it right. So maybe it's a Yankee, Logan. That's it. If I pick a Yankee, he can't get it right. That's usually where I usually am able to get it with. And so I take great pleasure in being able to get Mr. Stone wrong here when I can get him with it. He's usually pretty good. I got to give him. Last week he got John Smoltz right away with me. He got John right away.
I want to say.
I feel like the third clue is very helpful.
I want to say David Justice, but.
Not David Justice. David Justice was Rookie of the Year in 1990 for the Atlanta.
Hey, I recognize that name from Moneyball.
He was Moneyball, yes. Take walks.
Oh,
take walks, David Justice. Take walks.
Oh, I know it.
You know it? Who is it?
Mike Piazza?
Mike Piazza is correct. He is the correct.
What was the third hit?
Hit number 3 is I finished top 10 in MVP voting 7 times.
Yeah.
He finished second in 1996 and 97. And he was famously traded 2 times in 1998. Went from the Dodgers to the Marlins for 2 games, then to the Mets. And then he was drafted in the 62nd round.
I don't remember him with the A's.
He finished with the A's. Yes, he was. He was one of those weird uniform guys you see with somebody with the A's. He went from the Mets to the Padres for a year, and then he finished up with the Oakland A's out there in Oakland. So Mike Piazza, you are correct, Logan. It'll take you a couple, so we'll get it. I at least got you on that. At least a couple. I'll take a small victory. I'll take a small victory in that one with it. All right, last part of the show here. We're in the ninth inning. Let's get.
What a ride! The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
Speaking of my Oakland,
none of the commenters had it.
None of the commenters had it. They let us. They did not get it with that one. One of my favorite hot mic moments of all time. Little kids out there, cover your ears. There is some cussing in baseball once in a while. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
Martinez delivered 2 of the 3 Tigers runs with the double in the 4th. Fights off a 1-2 pitch to stay alive.
Whoa! Get back up on the
Whoa!
Cleared in an awful hurry. Victor Martinez and Grant Balfour jawing, and benches have cleared. My goodness.
I don't know who said something first. And then you could hear, unfortunately, the sound that came out.
Here come the bullpens now.
Boy, that's the last thing Oakland wants.
Oh, one of my favorite things is, well, unfortunately, we heard that. We heard those words
Okay.
out there.
Those naughty words.
I have a question.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm just a baseball girly. I only watch the baseballs. Hockey, I don't understand. The hockey fight, the refs just let the guys fight.
Yeah.
Why isn't anybody else jumping in? Why are the benches not clearing? Why isn't it not an all-out brawl?
I think it's what we call what it used to be in baseball. It was just the unwritten rules of how you handled the game. Yeah. You had your guy. They policed themselves, as they like to say. Susie.
Okay, so they literally just squared up for 30 seconds, and then the refs were like, "Okay, guess we should."
They used to
he's
be paid
concussed,
just to be. Yeah. They used to be paid just to be grunts. What were they called? Enforcers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paid enforcers.
Paid enforcers. That's what they did.
To fight.
Just beat the crap out of people.
They were horrible at skating, and they were horrible at hockey, but they just would enforce it, and so.
Okay, but the one that I just posted on Twitter, I guess it was 2 established guys, stars. I don't know. Stars
McDavid. You're talking about McDavid. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You eventually will get some stars involved in it, but like I said, I think it's just policing themselves. That's literally what it comes down to. And baseball used to be that. They used to that's what they would do. They would police themselves. They'd throw inside. They would lead to fights. And Balfour that was a playoff game, by the way.
Yeah.
You shut up. That was a playoff game.
That was game 3 in Detroit, I believe. Maybe game 4. ALDS. Yeah. That was a playoff game. I remember thinking they were up 6-3. I was like, what are we doing? I was like, don't get ejected. I remember thinking that as an A's fan. I was like, oh God, that was my biggest worry. Actually, you would get in a fight and then blow the lead was actually my biggest worry. But
in hockey though, do the benches ever clear?
No.
No, it's just the 2 guys.
Or it's 5-on-5. I mean, I've seen goalies go at it. There's good videos of the goal. There's good if you look up Avalanche versus Red Wings fights. Just you'll see goalies going at it. The goalies just start going. It's just unwritten rules, baby. They just start. They're like, we're going. That's what it was, and that's what baseball used to do. It was the same idea. Okay. They'll just fight. And that one video always cracks me up. Balfour, he was a certified psycho, but us A's fans, we love that psycho. We were big fans of that psychopath.
I wanted him so bad.
We were big fans of Big Balfour, and that one I even loved him for. After that, what you looking at? He's just like Victor Martinez. What do you mean?
Listen,
playoff game. That was playoff baseball right there in Detroit. That was awesome.
The A's? I want to say the Astros got into a brawl with. I want to say the A's. It was Dustin Garneau. Do you remember Dustin Garneau? He was a catcher the backup catcher for the Astros.
Yep, I remember him.
He threw somebody down, literally. Oh, I'm trying to remember who it was. It's gone, but I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna send it to you.
Send it to me
because I want to say it was against the A's.
I love that's why we do the flashbacks for this thing, just to kind of remind people of history with these things. And that was always a funny one. Logan, I know you sent it to me. I've had that one on kind of the docket for a while, so I thought when you sent it to me, I'm like, this is a time we'll play it this week. But that's why I just love that part of it. He's from Australia, everybody, so that's part of it. Mr. Balfour is from Australia.
His walkout song, whatever, it was One by Metallica, and he would just all the A's fans would just start headbanging. Oh my gosh, it was just awesome. I thought, awesome. I want to be an A's fan now.
Oh, that's one of my favorite videos of all time. And as you like to say, that's why we're in the big leagues. I got it for you. Here's the walkout song.
There you are.
I got it.
Took a few more pitches. He's been down there for a half hour throwing, ready to come in the ninth inning.
Well, you melt these moments.
Oh, absolutely.
When was this? Like what?
When they clinched the division in 2012.
2012. Okay.
All day long. That's what it was a bit.
I started rooting for the A's because of this.
That's what it was. That was good stuff. It was good stuff. It was good stuff back then. That was great. Balfour Rage.
The guys punching. That's amazing.
That's all they would do. So when the song would be called, so I would sit in the right field bleachers back in those days, and you would just sit there. And you would just literally have to punch for like 2 minutes. You felt like you were in some sort of aerobics class. And you would just be like sweating there with like these guys. You just be like banging your head and like punching the air for about 2 minutes. So it was always good stuff back in the day.
We need more of that. Bring more of that back.
Well, damn Sacramento will take it from us. But I'm not bitter. We're moving on. We're moving on with life. I'm still a baseball fan, but we'll see how the A's allegiance follows me as I move on with time here. But those were some good memories that I definitely have with it. And hopefully we created some good memories tonight on 7th Inning. Susie, we learned about Central Time and Pacific Time today. We learned there was we are 2 hours apart from each other, just to throw that out.
Listen, that's why I asked. That is why I asked. I'm just saying. Okay.
We're up here with it. Appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the show. You guys still doing stuff in the off season? What are you guys doing with Bourbon and Baseball here?
Yeah, we Kelsey and I are trying to record every week. That is not actually happening though, because between my schedule and her schedule, it's just not lining up. And then we had
seems like we had somebody to just come in and help once in a while.
Well, we had I don't know if you know this, but we had like massive snowstorms.
Oh, I saw
literally here in South Texas. Like I got snow here where I am. Like I know you saw like Houston got snow. Typically Houston will get snow, but like we down here on the coast got snow, and like that typically doesn't happen. So we were off of school for a couple of days because we have no snow. We have no salt trucks. Like things got crazy. So yeah, between her schedule and my schedule, we got a little discombobulated this week, but we're coming back. And then when Astros have news, things like that, then Tom and I will record. Odds are Tom and I will record sometime this week talking about Jose Altuve in left field.
Oh boy, don't run into a wall, Jose. Don't run into a wall. We don't want that. I do appreciate you taking the time with it.
Just the ball's going to be over his head.
Susie, how often have you seen snowfall in Houston where you live? Like
twice.
Okay.
Twice.
All right. So not very often then. So like I live here in Northern California, like Clover, which is it's about an hour and a half from the Bay Area. I've only seen snowfall once in my life. Once.
Really?
It was last year I saw it. And I remember me and my kids, we went outside. Talk about not being prepared for snow. I'm like walking out with basketball shoes. My feet are like soaking wet. Like, I mean, like you talk about like not being prepared for snow. That is the definition of somebody that lives out here in Northern, where I live in the Bay Area. Like you're just never expecting it. I can go to Lake Tahoe and go there and see it, or places like that. But I don't travel like that. But it's just kind of crazy for me. Like in the same situation, we live in kind of similar climates in that regard, but you're obviously getting a little hotter than me down there, just a little bit. And it gets hot until about 110 here, but you guys have the humidity that we do not get here from it. It's funny, we hired a guy this year at the school I worked at for teaching. He's a massive Astros fan. He's from San Antonio. So it's funny he's like a 25-year-old guy. So it's funny getting his perspective on things. Huge Astros guy. So it's funny talking to him about the Astros and then knowing you a little bit over the years, kind of getting his insights on it. So I kind of enjoy that with it. But no, I do appreciate your time staying with us for almost 2 hours here.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like that guy over there, Logan, but Darren, anytime you want me.
we like him when he's in plaid. Come on, Stone. Where's the plaid? We got to get you a little bit more plaid. That's where
Susie,
a little bit with
you
it.
Just remember that I'm your favorite person. So.
Logan, you are one of my least favorite people.
No,
that is correct.
Don't start that.
Takes a little bit more bourbon to like him. We gotta take a little bit more bourbon to take a like him on that as we go.
That's how I got most of my girlfriends. So just keep them drinking.
Just keep them drinking. Keep them heavily intoxicated is the key for Logan.
Then once they got sober, I was alone again. I was like, oh wow, okay.
Appreciate Walk Off tuning in, Renell, Aaron on with it as well in the comments as well. Appreciate you guys very much with it. Susie, maybe we get you on here maybe right around the beginning of the season, something like that. Kind of talk some baseball. Obviously, you know your stuff, so always enjoy your guys' content. Logan Stone, appreciate you as well. Jumping with it. We're gonna do movies, baseball movies next week with Josh Lewis. Hopefully he's gonna be on with us. Josh Lewis out there, a friend of the program as well. So be sure to tune in with that. And we'll hit on a different position next week as well. So for Susie, Bourbon and Baseball, Logan Stone, I'm Darren Breyer. We will see you all next week. Peace.